Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Hopefully, you're all having a fantastic Friday. I know I certainly am. Did my exercise this morning and then got straight into the markets. And that's what we're going to be doing in this video. We are going to be looking at the cryptocurrency market and also the markets surrounding it, which have such a bearing on our small but very, very significant and on the journey to becoming significantly more significant. How many times can I say significant in one sentence? Space moving forwards. You know, blockchain is taking over, ladies and gentlemen, and it's rewarding for somebody like myself that has been in this space when there was a lot less interest in it to now to see just how it's going to be running central bank digital currencies. It's going to be running everything, ladies and gentlemen. And in the future, you are going to be using blockchain without even knowing that you're using it, in the same way that we don't think too much about the computers that we're using, the mobile phones that we're using, the technology behind it, and so on and so forth. So without further ado and without further rambling, guys, let's get into this video. Now, what do I have lined up for you very quickly as an intro? We have, and we're going to start or actually look at, we had the PPI yesterday, which was a inflationary data metric for the US, which came out sticky, just like the CPI that we had on Tuesday. Now, markets are kind of, we did say that this inflationary data is very, very critical because ultimately it's what's driving the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve is what's driving markets. So the stock market's had a bit of a bad day over this. The dollar's, of course, gained strength as markets are now looking to price in higher rates for longer with the inflation data that we got. And actually, despite this, the cryptocurrency market is doing exceptionally well. Now, there is going to be a pullback and a rest for Bitcoin at some point, but there's some very interesting things going on. And we're going to be dropping down the time frames and looking at those things as we've looked at this head and shoulders. Now, we may have got the neckline wrong. This, where we currently rejected from, would give us a pretty damn perfect neckline and give us a bigger target to potentially get to, providing this structure plays out. A deeper correction is coming, ladies and gentlemen. We actually longed crypto here. Anybody that wants to find out about that and verify what I'm saying, there's a link in the description. I should say we bought spot crypto into the CPI. There's a link in my description for my Patreon. We've also given out altcoins that have done amazingly. And we also, last week, looked at a certain altcoin called Filecoin as a potential swing trade. So anybody that's interested in joining the Patreon, it's the price of a monthly subscription for really anything. I think it's very, very well cost. And I am going to be upping the price once we reach a certain level of members by nearly double. So we are going to be looking at this. And this is going to bring me on to also something a little bit fun that I want to do. Now, I think metrics or indicators, kind of like plan B stock to flow, you know, you got to take them with a pinch of salt. But this one's interesting. The mother of all BTC bullish signals has flashed. DCA indicator. Historically, it has flashed only thrice, so 3 times in BTC's existence. Each occurrence led to massive rallies. In 2015, you saw a rally of 7,400%. In 2019, you saw a rally of 160%. In 2022, you saw a rally of 640%. Isn't it funny how, being dyslexic, I read that as 600 instead of 100, jumbling these numbers up. The dyslexic in me is just trying to come out of the cage. So let's talk about it all, and then we'll look at a little bit of news circulating the space. We are going to do from next week, guys, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Daily breaking news updates where we cover all the news from the past 24 hours in one update that will come out in the morning. So we had the PPI, which came out a little bit sticky. CNBC open, markets full on hot economic data. This was, of course, referring to what happened yesterday. And a chance of a 50% interest rate hike. So because we've had this sticky inflation, it's not come down at the same kind of manner. You've had many speakers in the Fed come out and say, okay, well, we're not against 50 at this point. Markets, of course, are not pricing that in. They're pricing slightly over 5% interest rates in. We're currently at 4.75. So that would shake the bed a little bit. It would rock the boat. And of course, you know, this is why we said this rally was, this inflationary print was so important, because it validates, and we'll move over to the stock market. I'll take any weird and wonderful draws off that I have. In fact, it's only the stock market. Come on, guys. the rally that's taken place thus far. And we did say, actually, stock market looks like it's broken out. Crypto looks like it's broken out. You know, we are potentially onto a winner-winner chicken dinner here, guys, and looking for more upside. So this doesn't look too bad to me. Let's drop down some time frames. Get a little bit more professional with it. I like that. So if you do something like this, you know, that's showing that this move is running out of direction. It's not a steep decline in a sort of channelish direction. So that's not a particularly bad sign. But of course, stock market and everything's adjusted to this kind of, you know, not really very telling inflationary data that shows stickier inflation. And that means the Fed are probably going to have to be more hawkish for longer. And of course, the dollar on the back end of this, with the expectation that rates are going to be more consistent for or higher for longer, is catching a little bit of a bid. The dollar looked overcooked as hell, to be honest. You know, we called for a rally here. This is historical, going right the way back. Area of interest, key levels that you've rallied off. You know, you are potentially maybe looking for a rally here. So Bitcoin yesterday, I feel like kind of gave into all the downward sort of headwind that we've got. You know, gold selling off, assets selling off against a hard dollar. You know, but ultimately I do think that the dollar will roll over at some point, and this is going to give crypto, which is already looking pretty damn strong, the green light. So before I get into, you know, we've been drawing this as a head and shoulders. We said, okay, potentially this is your right shoulder. That's a beautiful right shoulder if it is one, because it gives us validation that this pattern is likely to occur. And we actually did, from, you know, bearing in mind, guys, the first conversation we had was around about the 5th of January. We actually did look at and really set out the path for this, right? So we looked at this, this, and then this. Well, if this is maybe your, and it kind of makes a little bit of sense, that maybe that's your right armpit. So this is ever changing. And you go, oh, well, you're moving the goalposts. No, not necessarily. Structure's still very valid. It's pretty much what we're looking at. I like this head and shoulders as an idea. It's typically a trend reversal structure. This may line up with this DCA indicator that will actually overlay the Bitcoin chart and show you it in motion, not just the tweet, but we will review the tweet and the individual who sing Sorrow. So maybe is that a bit of a play on George Soros? I don't know. But maybe there's, you know, this could be your, and this might line up with a dollar for stronger, dollar for longer, higher rates for longer sort of thesis. This gives your altcoins a chance to sort of pull back. I tell you what, I do like the fact that Bitcoin's actually outperforming alts right now, because Bitcoin is typically where smart money, big money harbors. It's a good sign on top of everything else that we've seen. We'll see how the stock market opens today. Certainly going into Friday, it's going to set the pace for the weekend. Dollar, I think, could take a bit of a break. You know, this could have been your right shoulder, which we've previously drawn, or maybe you're forming a bit of a neckline here. You're kind of, you know, hunching up a little bit, and you've got this concession of head and shoulders taking place. You know, that you're kind of broad head and bigger head and shoulders, smaller head and shoulders, you know, and then this is how you sort of climb out of here. And we have said, look, you're potentially looking at that 32K, just to be a little bit, take the boy off log, just to be a little bit opium. You know, that's giving you a 35K-ish target. So I think you're going to get to 30K, certainly by the second half of the year. And where your altcoins will be, it's up for you to decide. If you want to get on board with what I'm buying, where I'm buying, how I'm buying, feel free to join the Patreon. Let's take a look at this indicator. This is the DCA indicator. It is the M Sorrow daily $1 indicator. Now, essentially, today marks the 4th time this signal is suggesting a raging bull market. Now, we're not, you know, we said we're cautious. We're optimistic at the moment. We're not full-blown bull. We're not calling this a bull market because you simply can't, technically. You know, a bull market is a macro structure, 6 month plus, in my opinion. Maybe that isn't macro, but to me, that's a long enough time period, with a concession of lower lows and lower highs. So we need a higher high and a higher low, and then a potentially, it would be nice to see another high high to confirm what we've got going on here. So let's go ahead and look at this. So, of course, we had this that has just flashed, literally just. The last time we had one was coming out of the March 2020 spiller. Prior to that, it was 2000 and... but can you see how you congest actually when you get this signal? So maybe that kind of ties in with this being the right shoulder. Guys, please like, subscribe, leave me a comment. You don't get this kind of content anywhere else on YouTube. Presented as beautifully as on here. So maybe we're looking for an area of congestion and kind of pause, which suits me nicely. It gives me a chance to load up more than we already have. And then, of course, the signal that you got here, you know, you kind of just went off and then congested for a bit. But this signal, take it with a pinch of salt, because there's always the first time with these indicators, which is the M-Sorrow Daily. So let's go ahead and put that bad boy on the chart. There we are. Okay. Which one's... So he's using this one. We'll use the one he's using. I think it's only fair, right? Essentially, it's going over the 365 mark, which you did here. Okay, let's give something to highlight this, and then we'll move on to a bit of news, and then I will love and leave you to your Fridays, guys. I won't keep you for much longer. Last time you did that was here, which of course you then wound up into this period of consolidation, which would tie up nicely with our head and shoulders thesis. Also with altcoins, gives them that sort of coiling up that we spoke about at this sort of key levels. And then of course you did that previously over here. So not a bad indicator, not the best, but not the worst. And then of course you did that over here. All resulted in some pretty significant rallies. Let's just be a pain in the backside and look at this on the biggest chart I can find for Bitcoin. Whoa. Too many draws on here. Let's get rid of that. And let's go back as far as we can to see if there's been any other times that this has flashed. Okay. No is the answer. Yeah, I think the data is going to be too skewed for that, really. So yeah, could there be anything in this? Potentially. You guys will have to determine that for yourself, but it's certainly interesting and something that I'll be paying attention to. And it kind of maybe is a supporting factor. Maybe we're trying to fill our bias now with everything else that we're looking at. And certainly if this is a reverse head and shoulders, it's reversal structure. We've already looked at trend, danger in regards to it waning and potentially going the other way. Signals, which is the bullish divergence on the RSI, bearish divergence on stablecoin dominance, so on and so forth. We've covered it all. Actually, a tweet pinned to my Twitter, which you can go and look at. A lot of the news today is to do with the SEC. There is a war on crypto from a regulatory standpoint. We knew it was coming. It's inevitable. And actually, I think there's a lot of bullish connotations to this that some people are just simply ignoring at the moment because they're still bearish and waiting for 10, 12, 13K, which isn't out of the realms of possibility, but this is a game of probability, and you've got to try and work that out for yourself. All I've got for you in this video, guys, if you enjoyed the content, a like is always appreciated, so as a comment, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next YouTube video. Have a fantastic Friday, guys. See you in the next one.